Hello Dino Peeps, my disclaimer from yesterday also applies to this video. I'm partnered with Gportal and I was partnered with Nitrado for over 4 years. However, since this topic is about hosting Arc servers, I think it's important for you to know that I have business relationships with a direct competitor of Nitrado. This relationship has no influence on my content or opinion, and I have the complete freedom to report about these news how I think is right. However, I decided to not include my affiliate link in the last and in this video because I don't want to give the impression that I'm speaking on behalf of Gportal or that I'm trying to profit off this topic. All clear? All clear. Yesterday was a stressful and awful day, if I can put it that way. Half of the day we sat together in voice chat with some content creators and discussed what to do next. The other half I talked to different hosters and also former Nitrado employees who have seen my video, and I have to tell you honestly, it does not look good. I saw some statements from a few Nitrado partners yesterday, and they were really laying into the voices who were unhappy about the exclusive deal. They were basically just saying that these people are all just diehard fans of certain hosts, that things weren't as bad as they're making it out to be, and that content creators are totally blowing things out of proportion. They were acting like nothing significant is going to change, and you know what? I kind of wished it was true. I wish we were all just making a big fuss out of the situation, that it isn't that bad, but after chatting with a bunch of people, turns out it is actually even worse. Now, in case you missed the video from yesterday and you're wondering what this is all about, Snail Games went ahead and inked a deal with Nitrado. Snail's getting $4 million, $1 million of which covers server costs, and $3 million is supposed to go into the development of ASA. Sounds pretty decent, right? But here's what they get in return. Nitrado snagged a full-on exclusivity deal for Ark Survival Ascended, and the chances are that they'll get it for Ark Survival Evolved and Ark 2 as well. And I mean, that's not just the official servers, but the private ones too, so bottom line, if you want to rent a server, you're forced to choose Nitrado. Natural Causes on Twitter wrote a tweet that shows how terrible it might be for content creators. And I'm going to read it to you now. So I've had a few people ask me as well, as a few say, I already use Nitrado, so this is great and it doesn't affect me. And I'm sorry to say, but it does, and more than you realize. It matters because now there's no competition. You as a customer, whether as a server hoster or just a player, will no longer have the free choice to go, I'll just move servers then. Because you're being forced to only have a single choice in provider. And there's now nothing preventing Nitrado to just slowly start increasing sales price, decrease how much RAM you can get for your server, decrease how many slots you have. Having a free market is pro-consumer, whether you're paying for it or not. Or you're saying, oh, but I'm on console, so we only ever had one host anyways. Yes, and that sucks, but those prices were still linked to the PC server costs as well. As Nitrado wants the PC server business too, so they keep both servers cost at market value in hopes you as a customer just go, I don't want to bother with multiple providers, I'll just use them for both. For creators who are partnered with Nitrado, you're too. Why should they bother to offer you better rates for advertisement, better perks, better deals? Because you're already forced to use them now, so why pay you for advertise them? What you gonna do, partner with someone else who can't host the servers you need? This is overall really bad. Whether you like Nitrado or not, at the end of the day, they're a business and they're here to make money. So once you're locked in, that's when you can just get... And this is also exactly the reason that there are anti-monopoly laws in place. He talks about the consequences of building a monopoly when offering services for content creators. No competition means that the content creators get worse or no deals. The active competition between Gportal and Nitrado caused the threshold for getting partnered to get lowered year by year, which helped many smaller creators to actually get their first business deal. And that was true for both sides. The creators won here. But let's put our focus away from the content creator for a second and back to the players, because a lot of you will be players. The success of games is dependent on the first impression. Streamers show you during the releases how they go, and you watch them to decide if you should get the game or not. And I am not sure if Nitrado is able to handle an exclusive launch like this. Previous launches for DLCs, for example, were spread over several hundred hosters, so the load was spread evenly. I experienced several DLC and game launches with Nitrado, and it was an adventure if I want to be polite. I lost my marbles hosting community servers during the time more than once. Just to name what I experienced. Server files were not available during launch and we had to wait several hours. Hotfixes and patches were also not available for many hours, and you were unable to join the server for that time when your client had already updated. Many of my streams had to be delayed or even cancelled, sometimes pushed to single player because I couldn't access my server. And those are just the things that regularly happened. Don't play on patch day wasn't a suggestion, it was a sad reality. Back in the days I realized that viewers don't differentiate between the game issues and server issues, they will just simply not buy or play it. And then the company can't sell enough copies, development is stopped, and game is abandoned. I mean, dark and light, anyone? But let's also talk about hosters, commercial and private ones. This decision will cause a lot of people to lose their jobs. For many smaller hosters, Ark is their main game, and with it not being available to them anymore, they will lose their main source of income. That means in the end, we will lose almost all small and independent hosters to this. For private hosters, we don't know what kind of consequences it will have because nothing here is known. The filing just hints towards that the requirements of the deal will have to be checked by the parties regularly to make sure there are no violations. That also means that you're responsible and can be held accountable when you break the rules. But how far will they go when they mean monetized? Private server owners that take donations for hosting costs? Content creators that offer sub-only servers for their community? If we go by the strict wording, nothing of this would be possible anymore. And now to my last point that probably not many considered. This deal is really bad for Nitrado as well. When customers aren't happy with them, they just switch to another host and don't make a big deal out of it. But now they're forced into confrontation with Nitrado. Nitrado is basically haunted by the ghosts of their past, also known as dissatisfied customers of the past years, and all of them will be vocal at once. After I uploaded my video yesterday, I was surprised how many of you had bad experience and are now extremely unhappy about the deal. And even on Twitter I see mainly unhappy people, things like, why Nitrado? Why won't they let us decide ourselves? And well, then I'm simply not buying it. And those are just a few reactions that I have read from usually big Ark fans. Nitrado cares about their reputation, but this deal alone can make them the talk of the internet town for the next few years. Because people are now forced to deal with them when they want to play their favorite game, and the fact that people are now more angry at Nitrado than at Snail Games, this is pretty telling. It shows that all these things were not considered when this deal was made. I fear both sides were lacking the knowledge about the uniqueness and explosive dynamic that the Ark community has as their main drive. And I mean not only the German community where Nitrado is at home, but also the international community. In the end, the only one profiting is Snail Games, because they don't have a reputation to lose and they got 3 millions on top. Everyone else is probably looking into a very grim future. And to wrap it up now, a monopoly is always bad. I would be just as mad when Gportal would have pulled this and get the exclusive rights for all Ark servers. A monopoly is bad for players, community, content creators and the game itself, especially when you take away the freedom of choice after so many years. So this is not about who has the monopoly, but it's about why it exists in the first place. And this is unfortunately a topic that we all have to deal with, unless you play on single player, you're easy out. But everyone else who wants to play with their friends, we all have to deal with this now. And my wish is that we keep this conversation going and also that the responsible people are listening. Because the way it is now, that's not it.